Hey y'all, my name is Amy. I am a full-time reseller on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, and Depop, and also Curtsy now. I recently just moved over my Poshmark listings to Curtsy to see if I could also drum up some sales on a new platform. I've had, I believe, 3 or 4 sales, and I did it at the beginning of the year. So it's been good to have some. I love the ease of it. I turned on a setting where they just import any new listings over from Poshmark, and then as things sell on Poshmark, they just remove them. So the amount of effort that it's taken on my part is essentially none. So I've loved that. Let me know below. I'm curious if others have done it too and what your thoughts are on Curtsy. In today's video, we're going to go over 20 items that sold for $40 or more. These are items that sold between January 1st and January 13th, so just up to a couple days ago. Usually I share them in order of price sold starting at $40, but instead I'm just going to do them in the order in which they sold. So starting with a couple of items that sold on January 1st. First is this Everlane Day Tripper shirt dress in black. This one sold for $48 on Poshmark. I had paid $13.49, so that left me with $22.89, and it took 21 days to sell. Next are these Everlane ballet flats. These were in the color minimal gray. I thought these were really cute and definitely on trend for the ballet core going on. These I had paid $17 for. They sold for $65 over on Depop. That does include shipping. It took 69 days for these to sell, and I was left with a profit of $29.93. Next is an item by Everlane that I ended up getting duplicates of, and I think I've sold most of them in a relatively quick time frame. This is the Everlane ribbed tank dress in black. This one took 56 days to sell. I had paid $13.49. It sold for $48.75 over on Mercari. I love Mercari sales because they have a bit lower of a fee that is taken from each sale. So that left me with a profit of $28.26. Next up was a really exciting sale. This is from the brand Outdoor Voices. This is the zip off overalls in vanilla sugar. These took just 13 days to sell, which was great. I had paid $39.55 for these. They sold for $96 on Poshmark, leaving me $37.25. Next was a really quick sale that was super exciting for me because I took a long time to get these listed. So when they sold in just 5 days, I was ecstatic to see them on their way. These are the UGG men's 3-point leather gloves in black. I had paid $3.56 for these. Someone offered $45 and I just accepted. I know the retail on these was a bit high and $45 is definitely a smaller fraction of that, but I was just ready to see them go because I took so long to get these up. That left me with a profit of $32.44. This next item is actually a repeat of the first item. This is the Day Tripper shirt dress. This one took 27 days to sell. It sold for $48.40, but on eBay this time. That left me with $21.61. This next item took a really long time to sell. However, I didn't take the item out of its packaging. I just photographed the packaging, which I definitely feel like is hurting the sellability of the items that I'm doing this with. So going forward, I will definitely be taking everything out of the package and getting better photos. And I'll reach a point where I end up redoing the photos on these pieces if I still have them. I just haven't gotten to a point to make the time to do that. This is the Free People Magic Hour bodysuit and midnight combo. This one took 285 days to sell. I paid $11.05. It sold for $45 on Poshmark, leaving me $22.93. Then this duvet cover by the brand Buffy sold. This one was in a king size. I had paid $12.23. It took 320 days to sell, so definitely a long time. This one sold for $72 and left me with $49.63. This next brand is one that I don't have a lot of experience with, but I know the retail is very high. The brand is Lily Pulitzer. This cardigan was brand new with tags, and I believe it retailed for about $225. So when I saw it at a thrift store for $25, I picked it up. I listed it, I believe, around $90. Someone sent me an offer for $64 and I just accepted because it had already been listed for 64 days and I hadn't really seen a lot of attention on it. and that left me with a profit of $24.18, so almost doubling my money on this one. I've heard other resellers say that goth items are doing really well, so when I saw this new with tags at the thrift store, I decided to give it a try. This one I think was sold at Hot Topic. It's a Hell Bunny Vixen sailor dress in red and black. I purchased it for $15. It took 17 days to sell, so really quick sell, which was great. It sold for $42.15 and left me with a profit of $15.04. Now, it's not quite my target profit, but with it being such a quick sale and an item that seems to be trendy, I am fine with that. This next item is from a brand that is new to me. The brand is Lotus Traders, and when I looked at their website, it seems like they sell a lot of like Renaissance style dresses and gowns, and this one I didn't even include Renaissance in the name because I didn't realize until after I had already listed it that that was the case. But I listed it, I believe, for $60. It sold for $51.60 over on eBay, and I had paid just $5 at a thrift store, so that left me with $31.21, and this sold just 2 days after listing. Next are these Brooks Pride running shoes. I think I've sold Brooks Pride running shoes 3 to 4 times now, and I feel like they sell really quickly every time. I think there's probably just not that many out there, and there is obviously a demand, which is great. These ones were a collaboration with Wednesday Homes, and I paid $29.04. They sold just 3 days after listing for $86.80. That left me with a profit of $36.24. This next item was actually my first, what I guess I'm calling an in-person transaction. My mom wanted a dress for an event she had coming up, and so she wanted to shop my closet, which is great. So I ended up just shipping this to her. She lives in a different city, but I didn't have any fees because she just paid me directly. But I did have a shipping cost, so this one was an interesting one. I'm so used to having fees with platforms, but this was amazing to not have it for once. This dress is by Soft Surroundings. This is the Sitara midi dress in Aria Blue. This one I found at a thrift store for just $5, and I had actually just listed it 2 days prior to this when my mom contacted me saying she needed a dress. So she ended up paying $40 total, and that left me with a profit of $28.07 after cost of goods and shipping. Next are a really cute pair of shorts that I actually wish I would have purchased more of because I purchased 2 and I've already sold both of them really quickly, which was amazing. I didn't make a huge profit on them by any means, but they're just really cute shorts. They are by Patagonia. This is the nylon water resistant hiking short with a 4-inch inseam. I really liked the color of these. I paid $17.55. They sold 18 days after listing for $42. That left me with a profit of $14.16. Next are a pair of jeans by the brand AYR. AYR is really expensive, and I've only had their jeans a couple of times to sell, but these ones sold really quickly. This is the Beat style. They're a high-rise barrel leg jean. They sold just 32 days after listing. I had paid $20.25. They sold for $55, leaving me $23.75. Next up, we have an item that did take a long while to sell. This is a really cute sweater by Millie. It is this really bright lilac purple color, and it had this asymmetric wrap detail to it. This one I had paid $13.25 for. It sold for $50 on Poshmark. I think I had it listed pretty high, like maybe $80 or $90. I got the $50 offer, and after it having been 268 days, I was happy to take almost anything on this. That left me with a profit of $26.75. This next find was a really nice find at my local thrift store. This is by Free People. It's the We the Free subline. This is a duvet puffer jacket in a neutral color. This one I had paid $12.58 for. It did have some staining on it, and I felt pretty confident that I could get it out with washing. It did say dry clean only, but I'm usually just very careful with fabrics, and I usually have no issue laundering dry clean only items myself. This one was also the case. I did end up getting all the stains out, which was amazing. It took 21 days to sell and it sold for $60. That left me with a profit of $33.40. Okay, down to the last 3 items that all sold on January 13th. First up is this Victoria's Secret floral pajama set. These are actually donated by my mom. She wasn't wearing them, so she gave them to me to sell, which was amazing. They did take a while to sell. They took 326 days, but with me having no cost of goods in them, I just let them sit. I know it does take up a space in my inventory, but I'm not really hurting for space at the moment, so that's okay with me. If I were hurting for space, I would probably consider liquidating items like this at certain intervals if they're just not moving, but again, space isn't a concern at this moment, so they just sat. They did end up selling for $40.95, which was great. That left me with $28.59. Wow, I guess I didn't look ahead. I actually have 3 of the same items that sold in this time period. So this is that Everlane Day Tripper shirt dress again. This one actually sold for the highest amount compared to the other 2. This one sold for $62 over on Depop. That left me with a profit of $33.27. And lastly, we have this really cute Cardi hoodie jacket, and it is by Free People. This is called Moon Dust is the style, and this one I saw a lot in different colorways, but the colorway that I found this in seemed to be pretty unique and rare, so I did include that in the description. Not sure if that helped sell it or not, but it sold pretty quickly. Sold for $36. I found this at a thrift store for $10.74. It sold for $89.45, leaving me $57.81. And that concludes all 20 items that sold for $40 or more. I do enjoy putting out these videos just to let people know what is currently selling for me in hopes that it helps you. And I do include the brand tags so it can help with recognition. At least that's my hope. But I do want to thank you so much for watching and wishing you the best new year.